Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Me+3. So today we're doing a story time about my journey with my Hodgkins lymphoma, stage 4, and what it's been like since chemo ended. And as of July 1st, it'll be a year. So, woo. So in 2018, give or take, I think, is when my first lump appeared. I don't think it was too big. Like, I think it was less than the size of a toonie. Like, it wasn't big at all. And I had, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember now why. It's been almost 2 years. I've blacked half the stuff out, so I'm like, meh. But it was in this side of my neck, and I just remember like a little bump showing up. And I'm just gonna say this to everybody: you have a bump anywhere show up, go to the doctors. Don't let it sit for 2 months like I did, because you'll go from stage 1 to stage 4, so don't do it. Not that it'll be cancer, I'm just saying, like, you know, better to get checked out than not get checked out. So I got it checked out, and it turned out to be, it was in my chest, collarbones, both sides of my neck, armpits, and then I found out, I think it was like a month after, that it was in my liver as well. And then there was only a couple spots in my liver. Like, I think the biggest one was like 1.3 centimeters. Like, it wasn't big, but it was still like, you're like, okay, cool, it's in my liver, cool. So I started panicking doing all that stuff, but I had a really great oncologist. I had so many supportive people around me. Like, I had a great job that I was able to take time off. Like, I had just bought a house, and I was like, I can't just completely go cold turkey, so I need to still work so I can afford our brand new house. Like, God help me. And so we had, oh God, I think we had about 2 months to prepare, because I got diagnosed January 10th. Oh no, I had a month. Never mind, not 2 months. Because I got diagnosed January 10th, and then my first round of chemo was February 11th. So I had not much time to prepare. And then I think it was, I'm so like focusing hard, but like, I think it was 4 days after my first round of chemo that I shaved my head, because the pain was so bad that I was just like, I don't even care. Like, this is what I have now. So I think it's been about a year since I last shaved my head. So this is about a year's growth. Like, I got a little ponytail. This is coming out of the side of my head. It's, you know, that long. You know, so I look like myself-ish more again, because I was actually going through my photos today, and I was like, oh my God, like, you looked like sickly. And like, now I'm a little bit more, I feel like I look a little more like me. And it was hard looking at yourself in the mirror and just being like, no. Like, I didn't like myself. Now, mind you, I've also put on 50 pounds since ending chemo, so this don't look like me either. So it's just, there's nothing ever, I'm never satisfied. So anyway, so I had, I think I had 11 rounds of chemo. I chose not to get a port or a pick, and a pick goes like into a vein in your arm here, and then it goes into I think it goes into your heart, maybe. I think like it's funneled into your heart. And then you have a port, which is a little light device that gets put in your chest, and it's like a direct line, so you don't have to get stabbed every time. And I had, like, when I was a kid, I was in the hospital, and they couldn't find a vein on me then. Chemo made it worse. So I apologize to every chemo nurse who ever had to deal with me, because oh my God, like, I remember one time, like, one nurse got like a vein right in here, right in my knuckle. She went right between my knuckles and got a vein in there, and I was like, ow. But like, I have veins now ish. But yeah, no, it was a min 4 needle per treatment, just to try to, and they'd switch up nurse. So every time, like, a nurse would try, and then if like that nurse missed, or if the vein collapsed, or if it was it just wasn't a sturdy enough vein for them, and they didn't get blood withdrawal and all that stuff. So every single time that happened, they'd switch to a new nurse. And the second nurse, the first nurse who came in, she dealt with me, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, sorry. And so the first nurse that came in, she would deal with me. I'm like, hi, like, I'm doing, and I'd be throwing up into my bag because like I had anticipatory nausea. So every single time I smelled chemo or smelled the hospital or smelled anything that reminded me of it, I'd throw up. If I looked at anything, I'd throw up. Like, the only person I could look at was the nurse. Like, I had like strict instructions that when I came in, they had to like put like a little cloth over all my chemo drugs, because I had 4 different drugs, and they had to put a blanket over, because if I saw it, I would be like, nope, not doing it. I'm leaving right now. Goodbye. I couldn't do it. Like, I would be so violently ill. So I had to have like every treatment, I'd like put my little AirPods in. I'd have little blinders across my eyes, and I had like, for my lung test, I had like these little clippers. I'd put the clippers on my nose so I couldn't smell anything, and I'd just sit there in the darkness, like trying to pass out. I also had to take an Ativan just to try to calm my nerves. So anyway, the poor nurses had to deal with me and my shitty veins, and it was just, I regret not getting a pick. And if you have shitty veins and you have to go through chemo, please get a pick or report, or talk to your doctor about getting a pick or report, because it'll make your treatments so much quicker. Because my treatments were 2.5 hours. So by the time I got there and like got into my chair, it'd probably be about like 10-15 minutes. And then just trying to get a needle into my vein was probably another hour. So I was there for 3-4 hours each time. And it was like, if I just had a pick, they just put the little IV, screw right on, done. If I had a port, they'd take the IV, poke it in, call it a day. Like, it would have been smarter for me to get one of those. And I really should have. But anyway, so talk to your doctor about that, just saying. That's my little helpful hint of the day. And so I had my 11 rounds, and then it was, I think it took about 4 weeks after, and I finally like started to be like, oh, okay, because like my last round of chemo was July 1st, 2019, and it was honestly the shitty, like, it was the shittiest month, because like I should have had 12 rounds chemo, and my last round I couldn't. They had tried 11 times to get a vein. That's 11 pokes in my arms to try to get a vein, and they just couldn't. And I couldn't sit in the chair. It was 2 hours just trying to get a vein, and then I would have had to sit there for another 2.5 hours, probably trying to get another vein, and then it was another 2.5 hours just for the drugs. And I cried. Luckily my oncologist was there, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, and she's like, your tumors have shrunk enough. Like, if you want to change your mind, you can come back and have your next round of chemo. And I was like, okay. So I canceled my round of chemo for that day, and then I chose not to go back. But if and I know this is your decision and all this stuff, but I still highly recommend everybody to go back and finish all of their treatment, because it's a specific amount of treatment for a reason. It's not just like to torture you. It's there for a reason. And I should have done my last treatment, because I feel like it would have gave me a little bit more peace of mind to be like, I finished all my chemo, like it coated everything, like there's no going back, like it killed everything. I'd rather have that like clarity and peace of mind. But anyway, so she let me go home that day, and then I think it was about 4 weeks after that, I had my next appointment, and then after that she gave me my all clear, because on August 9th I was officially given my remission status, which was perfect. So I was like, because I honestly thought, like, since like I think it's within the first like 2 years of Hodgkins lymphoma, like it's the highest recurrence. But I kept thinking to myself, I have to make it to 2 years, otherwise like it's gonna keep coming back. For each month that goes by, your chances get lower and lower and lower and lower. Like, not by much, but still lower. So right now, like, you have to go every 3 months after you finish your treatment for checkups and stuff. And I think it was, my last checkup was in February, and they booted me down to the 6 month. So now I don't have to go for every 6 months, which honestly was the best news that I'd heard, best news that I'd heard all year, because like it was middle of quarantine, it was the outbreak of hell, and it was just, we just lost our jobs. Like I was like, if something bad happens during this time frame, I'm canceling 2020. I hate 2020. Like I'm done. 2019 sucked, but 2020 will get worse if this happens. So thankfully it wasn't. 2020 is still a better year than 2019 in my opinion. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride from hell since July. My emotions have finally because I thought after chemo, your emotions would just kind of settle out and you'd be a little bit more I knew it would take a bit, but I didn't think it would take 6 months. And it's nice to finally it's not that you have control over them, but you just feel a little more calm, a little more you feel sure of yourself when it comes to your emotions. Because there were so many times where I would call my dad I'd be talking to my roommate Dan, and I'd just be sitting there and I'd start crying, and I would just be blood-soaked tears, and I'm I don't know why. The worst part is it would usually it's about my survivor's guilt, and I was struggling with that so much, and I really should have went and seen a counselor, but I didn't. And if you have the opportunity to, please go do that. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. So I had a lot of that, but I actually joined a cancer community online. I can't remember the name of it right now because it's been a while since I've been on it. And they helped me through that really rough patch. You're talking to people who get it. Because when you talk to people who've never been through chemo or cancer or anything like that, it's hard because they understand and they're there with you. But it's when you're sitting there crying and they're like, you don't need to cry, everything's fine. You're like, but it's not. Do you not get it? It's not fine. And you're trying to explain to everybody that it's not. And it's people who've been through it understand. They get you. And it's nice to almost feel like you're not crazy, because I felt crazy, honestly, all the time. I'm naturally crazy, but that added to it. And it was tough. But thankfully, that hill has passed, and now I'm on to the next hill, which was during my chemo. I had 2 weeks in between, so it was Mondays were my chemo, and then I'd basically be dead for a week, and then the next week I'd finally start to recover, and then chemo again. And I got into the habit of I wouldn't eat for a week, and then I'd binge for a week. The problem is when chemo ended, instead of that not eating and then binging, it was binge, 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 binge. Went to Disney World, made a food bucket list, ate the whole bucket list. 45 pounds later, well, technically 37-ish now, because I'm on a diet now, and I'm starting to get back down there, but I gained back 2 pounds the other day, so I'm a little depressed. But I gotta stop weighing myself every day. My boyfriend hid my scale because I weigh myself every day, and I know I shouldn't. But so my next weigh-in will be Thursday next week, so hopefully I'll be a couple pounds later. Because I was looking at photos of myself from back in the day, and I was like, and you thought you were fat. You're an idiot. So anyway, just appreciate the body you have, because it's no matter how big you think you are, it can get worse. So just think about that. Think about the fact that you may not be at the size you want, but it could be worse. You could be heavier than you currently are. You could be, even if it's 2 pounds, you're those 2 pounds, I'm not 2 pounds heavier. So you know what? Think about that. Be happy with who you are. So that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm also trying to lose a little bit of weight because my knees are starting to hurt, and it hurts. So anyway, and that was actually something too, is right after chemo, I had extreme muscle pain. It was almost like my muscles were cramping and everything. And it took about 2 months for that to go away, which sucked. So if you have that, go talk to your doctor, because I definitely needed help with that, because that sucked. But yeah, it's been fun. I haven't had any other since I think January. Since January, I don't think I've had any major side effects from chemo, except for mental. I always check my neck. I'm always rubbing my neck, being where's the lump? There's a lump there. It's somewhere. I always keep thinking that it's gonna come back. I'm petrified of sitting here and all of a sudden my neck will cramp or gink, and I'll feel a lump and I'm like, Jason! And I start running to my boyfriend. I'm like, feel my neck. And like, it's the mental struggles after are the part that I think people aren't expecting. And I wasn't expecting that part. And I feel like at least I'm sharing my story. And if there's one person out there who I can help, then I'm best kind with that. So yeah, it's in 2 weeks, it'll be a year since chemo ended, and I'm happy to be on the other side, but I still feel for everybody who is in my shoes. Like less than a year ago, it was the worst time of my life. But it's also made me appreciate things. But anyway, I applied for school so I can actually become a medical laboratory assistant, so I can withdraw people's blood, I can take specimens, all that stuff, and I'm hoping that I can build up my repertoire a little bit more and hopefully get enough education that I can become a chemo nurse one day, and I can help people out the way the nurses help me, because there was so many nurses, and the way that they made my day. And I made sure that when I ended chemo, I went and got a cute little cactus card, and I was like, oh, and it was hard for me to like sign it because like I was throwing up in a bag because it was still my last chemo, and I was like, so it was, I want to be them. I want to be the people that they put a smile on my face even when I couldn't even smile. And they were so beautiful and loving, and just, I want to be that. I want to be those superheroes. So that's my goal. So if there's anybody out there who's been recently diagnosed and you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them best I can. I would still recommend asking your doctor first, or if it's like a really important one, ask your doctor. But if it's anything that I possibly can't answer, I will definitely try my best. And I wish everybody luck, and I hope everybody's doing well.